Hello, it's time to get on some spaceships, y'all. We're going to be going on a nice, fun journey. Welcome back. We're going to be talking today about our plan for our summer, which is we're dubbing the Summer of Science trademark. Don't use it. But today we're going to be talking a lot about the plan, kind of what we're going to be doing, how you have deftly, packed the entire thing into one summer, which I think you were going to do about 13 weeks, right?
13 weeks, that's right. Our kids have some camps scheduled, various things, some trips to Grandma and Grandpa, Nana and Papa. So we're planning around, but about 13 weeks. We're basing it off of Blossom and Roots science, kindergarten level science, which is all about space. And we are going to be doing this with our 6-year-old, who is a rising first grader, and our 9.5-year-old, who's a rising fourth grader. So there's a number of things we're going to be adapting from this. This is a great curriculum. We have a fantastic video we'll link in the show notes with a full walkthrough of this curriculum and a review. It's terrific. Unfortunately, we don't have 36 weeks to do this. And the reason we really wanted to do this was just that we feel like science often got shoved to the side, right? We have our social studies curriculum. You've been watching us do the Trekking the World. We're always up on our math and our reading and everything. Science is like that thing that just never gets the star position, right?
I think it slips through.
It's this extra thing. So we tried this time when we did Trekking the World to do biomes so that we could bring that science and kind of integrate it more so that it wouldn't get left behind. And it sort of worked, but it still kind of got left to the wayside when we ran out of time. So this summer we were like, you know what? No social studies. We are just going to do science.
Well, it's so hard because a lot of times with science, it tends to be maybe a couple ad hoc experiments, maybe a workbook. I mean, I've used a lot of the Evan Moore STEM books. And it's really hard to, you're right, bring that focus forward, be able to do a lot of activities. A lot of times it ends up being like worksheets or work pages or coloring pages or something like that, or maybe watching a YouTube video. And it really just doesn't get the depth, the deep dive that we always want to do. And what we do with our social studies curriculums when we're reading about literature, going around the world, ancient civilizations. And this is a great way for us to kind of bridge this gap. And if you're thinking about at home, like, when can I bring science in? Summer is a great time frame. I know a lot of homeschoolers take the summers off, or maybe you kind of gear it down in the summer like we do. This is a great opportunity if you can tailor the end of your social studies curriculum to the end of the school year type of thing. Then you could pick up and do something like this. And we've done this curriculum before.
We have. We did it when our daughter was a kinder, which was great the first time around, and that's why we love it so much. I think whether you do it in the summer or not, for us it just worked out that way. But I think between curriculums, maybe we may start adopting this kind of, between major social studies curriculums, taking a block of time and doing science for, maybe it's not 13 weeks, but that's just what our summer worked out to be. So what I wanted to do is take all 36 weeks of this curriculum and kind of collapse them into 13. So that was my first goal. What I ended up finding out, so there's a thread through this curriculum about this letter from an alien from Zula, which is really fun. Our kids love the letter from Zula part of this. It's kind of an interactive bit. There's a lot of great building steps at the beginning about astronaut training and how to get into space, what they need, the food, and all about rocket ships and just some great stuff. And then the bulk of the curriculum is all about different objects in space, whether it's planets, comets, there's asteroid parts, there's a whole thing on space stations. There's a bunch of really great stuff. At the very end, it's got a chunk of time where you're finishing the Zula storyline and going through kind of a bunch of machinations, but you're not learning directly about planets or planetary bodies or anything like that. So what we did was kind of use that to truncate and decide to do like a big last week where we're going to cover like 5 weeks of material because it's all really about Zula.
Yeah, kind of wrap it up. Right?
Exactly. So other than that, we're looking to do about 2 to 3 weeks in a single week of our curriculum. Usually it's 2 weeks.
And we're looking at like a cadence of like kind of a Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Right. My whole plan was 3 times a week, 2 hours per. So 6 hours a week. And this 2 hours includes time to do activities, and watch short YouTube videos.
Reading books, reading the spines.
Right.
But that doesn't include some of the extra materials that we're going to be doing, like movies and stuff like that.
Exactly. It doesn't include the movies, but it's a great opportunity to, I was like, we could do 6 hours a week. It's not that much time considering it includes art and, activities and different things. So I thought that would work out. The other thing is we have a great love of all things sci-fi.
Absolutely.
We're a real like Star Wars family, not as much a Star Trek family. So we're going to use this as an opportunity to bring in some Star Trek stuff so that our children have this cultural reference point. Because we haven't done a lot of Star Trek with them. We've done like the new movies, but they haven't seen like Generations. We watched a little bit of the old Star Trek. So we want to incorporate that too. We thought this is a great opportunity, and we really want to lean heavily into movies. That's not something that's included in this curriculum, but we love sci-fi movies.
You've gone ahead and built a really nice list of sci-fi movies that we both own and also are available on the streaming sites, and maybe we may have to, rent from Amazon or something like that,
or get from our library,
or get from the library or something like that. So along the way, we'll be telling you the ones we watched, and we're really going to try and do a lot of the similar things we've done before, where we're trying to watch some stuff as a couple, reading books maybe even that are meant for adults, kind of like embracing the curriculum as we go through, as we do all the readings for the students as well. So you went ahead and kind of collapsed it down, and you took the curriculum, you worked it. How hard was that for you to kind of rearrange? If somebody at home, obviously this is a purchased curriculum, so we wouldn't want to give that out.
No.
We encourage you to buy it. It's a great curriculum. We love it. How long did it take you to kind of like piece it together and put it together?
So
if somebody at home was watching,
So other than the very end, which I just kind of truncated all of you're trying to find Zula's Planet X and stuff. I truncated the end and said, well, the very last week of this, we'll do some every day to kind of do a big hurrah wrap up. So other than that, I basically just took kind of like every 2 weeks. I kept everything in order because of the Zula letters. You don't want to take it out of order.
You really couldn't go any other order.
Exactly. So I didn't want to do that. So that was the easiest way to do it. I just kind of broke it up and put 2 weeks in one. So depending on how much time you have, maybe you want to do 3 weeks in one because you have more time that you can devote. We are also balancing an older learner and a younger learner. Maybe you only have one. You're just doing this with your kinder student. You could do 3 days a week and do 1 week every day, and that might be okay too. It depends on your child, how much they like to be read to. As with all Blossom and Root products, there's a healthy mix of things to do that are hands-on and things to do that involve reading or watching. So it's a good mix depending on what your students really love to do. But yeah, I wanted to add in some older books, some books for us. We love to read. We love to read sci-fi. So I've got some books. I'm going to go back through my whole Andy Weir catalog and read that and a few other books. And then all the movies, I use ChatGPT to help me on, basic topics. I would say like, oh, we're going to be studying the moon. What are all the shows and movies having to do with the moon? And it gave me this great list.
It does a really good job at that, yeah.
It did a really great job just by topic. We're going to study Venus. Is there any movies about that? Or is there any movie that could have a cool tie-in? And we also wanted to look at like some classics of sci-fi. So when we got ready for this, the very first thing we did to kick this off, we watched Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Classic.
Which was classic, and we realized
it was great because I hadn't
seen it like in a long time.
And I just actually had a chance this past summer to actually drive through Wyoming and visit Devil's Tower. So it was really cool to like, Daddy's been there, and they're like, you have? And I was like pulling up pictures and stuff, and they're like, oh my gosh, you have? Did you see aliens?
So it was good for our 9-year-old. Our 6-year-old really loved it until the very end, where you got to see the aliens. She was a little bit afraid of that. So
a little wigged out.
Your mileage may vary. She usually is the kid who wants the scary stuff. So it was kind of surprising. But anyway,
she's right with her old dad. A little spooked there on the end.
So we watched that just to kind of kick things off. That was good. I would say it was a little bit on the slow side for the kids, so maybe watch it just with your partner.
Yeah, definitely a movie of its time. It's kind of funny. We've watched.
But it was really good.
We've seen this a couple times where we've watched some movies from the 60s, 70s, and maybe early 80s, and just realized the pacing's a little different than the modern movies. It's very funny to see that now as we age out a little bit. It's
so
funny.
We started that. We thought, okay, well, we'll watch this kind of kick off space stuff, and then we watched Tron to kick off
the OG, the original.
Yeah, because there's going to be a new Tron coming out later this year, I think. And so we watched that. And that was also a bit slow on the pacing, but was kind of a cool way to kick off sci-fi. So those were our choices. But, your mileage may vary, but we were excited to get started. We watched a couple of old Star Trek episodes. Paramount has got all the Paramount Plus or whatever. It's got all the old Star Trek episodes.
We watched like the original.
Yeah, we watched the very
not
first
the one that didn't have Kirk, the pilot, the first one that The first
episode.
one is the second one, yeah.
Right. We watched the first one of that. We watched the first Voyager. I didn't realize that those are a little bit more slow and contemplative as well. And so it was really interesting. But the kids loved Captain Janeway and Voyager. They were very excited about the female captain. So that was kind of cool. So we did a little bit of dabbling before getting started on this. Our overall goal is to complete this, add in extra for our older learner, add in extra for us as adults, bring in some great sci-fi literature. We're planning to read like The Time Machine and maybe War of the World. We have like a great illustrated classics version of it that wouldn't be too much for the kids.
Well, and that's something that we've had to be, start doing, which is, as we move through these curriculums, either level it up or level it down. We were choosing mostly now to level up for our older student. And, as we've logged through this whole journey through space, it'd be cool to watch and give you guys some good ideas on how we do that. A lot of writing prompts, a lot of book reading, a lot of self-reading, a lot of asking the older student to read to the younger student type of stuff. A lot of cool activities that we can do to kind of like level up the difficulty more to her age level.
And I really felt like the first time we went through this curriculum, the books that are recommended are not strictly kindergarten books, and we'll show you in the coming weeks some of the different spines and things. Those are definitely not kindergarten level material. You can certainly do kind of line by line edits or summaries to make them appropriate for kinder, but a lot of them have a much longer applicability, I guess. So there was plenty of things that we read that I was like, I don't have to adapt this for our 9-year-old at all. This is perfectly great just the way it is. There were other things that, yes, I had to bring in additional books. So it's not like I'm throwing out most of the curriculum by any means. And the activities in here are really fun. There's opportunities for them to build a cardboard rocket ship and stuff like that I know our 9-year-old's going to be very excited about. So we're definitely looking forward to this. I think at the end of the day, we want to give science more focus. We want to get out and use your telescope.
Absolutely. It's a summer. It'll soon be very beautiful here in the Pacific Northwest.
Might be very late to go stargazing, but we can do that. And we want to expose our kids to some great sci-fi literature and great space movies. And we want to remind ourselves of some of these really great movies and fill some gaps that we haven't seen. We looked at the list and we're like, wow, there's some movies on here that we've never seen or we haven't seen in 20 years or something together. So we're going to watch them together. So
time to let that 6-year-old watch Alien.
No. I'm not watching Alien.
I'm watching it.
So stick with us. We're going to go week by week. We'll tell you what we're doing and what movies and extra books we added for our older daughter, for ourselves, and activities we did. We've got some really fun things planned. I'm really looking forward to this. I think it's cool.
It's a nice change of pace. We've been doing so many literature-based curriculums. So not that there's anything wrong with that, but
we love to read.
Eventually you want to try something different, try something new. It's going to be a lot of fun. Then we're going to go, when we finally finish this, we'll go right into prehistory. So it's going to be even...
Yeah, we'll go back into, but kind of on the sciencey side. I think this is a great lead into prehistory. So last time we did this kind of at the same time as our Around the World journey, and then we jumped right into prehistory. I think this is actually going to be better. Because we kind of half did it. It was at the same time as Around the World. Giving this focused time now to this, and then when we go into prehistory, the very first weeks of prehistory are all about the creation of the universe and formation of stars and planets and all that stuff. So I think it's going to be just like the perfect ramp.
And the funny thing is, a lot of the literature and the movies we're going to be watching, all of the books that we're going to be reading, we know a decent list of what we're going to be bringing into this curriculum. And as you watch through the vlogging, you'll see we're going to bring in a lot of books. And so it'll kind of have the similar feel that like Around the World Journey or Ancient Civilizations feels like, with all the books. You're reading chapter books, you're reading children's books, you're having writing exercises and everything. We're kind of still bringing in that DNA into this curriculum, and we're just kind of bolting it on. We're doing some extra stuff. So as we go through this, I hope this helps you guys. Obviously, we can't give you the breakdown of what we're going to be doing, but if you watch the videos every week, you'll kind of get a feel of,
right.
Of how we broke
this
it
is
down.
A fantastic curriculum, though. Absolutely buy it. It's very affordable, even just to buy the science. You get science and nature together for kinder as one bundle on Gumroad from Blossom and Root. It's very affordable.
Even though we're doing multiple levels in the given week, we're still working directly from the sheets of the paper. we have a separate sheet that says, hey, in week 1, make sure you read these 2 sections, and here's some activities, and then we go into the book. And
there's also some books and things that we're skipping from the curriculum, so there's definitely much more to get here by definitely by the curriculum. I don't want anyone to walk away thinking that these videos are completely sufficient. Definitely by the curriculum, because there are some books here that our library system didn't have, or we had a different book, or chose a little bit different focus because we thought it made a little bit more sense to us. So definitely, I think getting this curriculum is the right step to take. But hopefully you'll follow along with us for the next 13 weeks and see what we're doing for our Summer of Science.